Right.
Thank you very much, and Dr. Theophilus, for inviting me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So we are going to be taking on mastering
Oh,
grant writing,
okay, before you
especially for
start,
community.
let me just introduce you to the audience. Okay, Dr.
Okay,
Femi, if that's
okay.
okay with you.
Yes, please go ahead.
Uh, all right, no problems. All right, so today we'll be having a webinar on the mastering grant writing, strategies for securing funding and advancing your non-governmental organizations and community health initiatives. So this is one of the core areas of our scholarship in WMI organization. So I feel like most of us here are going to benefit from this webinar. And in our midst, the speaker we have today is Dr. Daniel Femi. He's a seasoned advocate for eye health with extensive experience in securing, managing grants to implement impactful community-focused projects, including initiatives addressing preventable blindness and equitable access to healthcare in Nigeria and beyond. So, Dr. Femi, it's our pleasure to have you in our midst today while we gain from your wealth of experience. And I believe that every scholar that is here today will feel so much enriched by the end of our webinar. So, yeah, the floor is yours. You can go on with your webinar. So thank you so much for having us today.
Yeah, thank you, Theophilus, and thank you everyone for having the patience to wait on for me. I once again want to apologize. The reception here was very, very poor. Up until now that I've been able to join. So let us just go on to what we are here for today. I hope you are excited, and I hope that you will learn one or two things from this webinar. So grant writing for community projects, mastering grant writing. First of all, you would want to know what a grant is. So a grant is a financial award that is given for you to undergo a specific project. Now, a question you may ask is that grant, is it like a loan? Do I have to pay back, or do I need to have some certain amount of money, or does some persons funding me have some requirements that they need from me monetary wise? So a grant is not a loan. It is not. It is the money that is being given to you to implement a project. Actually, it cannot be some grants may not be in form of money, but they may be in form of other things. But basically, is like a an award or a financial award given to the awardee to undergo a specific project. So why does grant writing matters? Why do we need grants? So for some specific projects that you may want to embark on, or you just have an idea, and idea you need money, right, to implement this idea, however small the idea is, you definitely one way or the other need money to implement this idea, because projects basically they are for social impact, they are for creating impact in the society. And doing impact, you cannot do impact with just dry hands, or with no money, or with no funding. So if you have a beautiful ideas, that is why you need to master how to write grants, because when you master how to write grants, you are going to be seeing a lot of opportunities out there that you can tap into. And with your grant writing skill, you'll be able to get funding to either implement or start your project, or start that your idea that is solving a problem in the society. Then, or you want to scale up your idea, or you want to scale up your social impact. So that is why you need to master grant writing. Next slide, please. All right, so what are the key elements of grant writing or proposal? So you first of all have to sit down, organize your idea, and follow through all these steps. All these steps is, for example, the number one says the executive summary. What does it mean? For example, you have an idea, you have put it together, you know what you want to do, you know the problem you want to solve. You have to be able to put it in a concise summary, in the sense that if I say, I give you 2 minutes to tell me about your idea, you should be able to say A to Z about it. So that is why the executive summary is very important. You have to sit down and write your summary in, for me, I would say in 250 words. Write what your project is all about, what you need. You should have the element of the problem you are solving. You should have the element of the impact that it will have, measurable impact. Need statement. You need to create a need statement. Whenever you apply for grant, they want to assess if truly this problem that you want to solve actually exists, is actually a problem. There is a need. People need these solutions. You have to be able to come up with that statement. Because if you don't come up with that statement, you just go there and they will ask you a question. How do you know that this problem you are trying to solve really exists? How do you know that it is not just fabricated in your mind? Does this problem, does it have a real life scenario? So that is where you bring in the storytelling part of this mastering grant writing. You have to know how to organize stories. You need to learn how to bring out the stories of people who actually need this solution, so that you'll be able to captivate them even in writing. Now, the next point is the goals and objective. You don't just go A to Z. You have to be organized. You have to, goals and objectives have to be smart, have to be simple, measurable, you know, and must have results, measurable results, and must be time bound. It is not something that it is just over the place. You have to have a goal and objective. Please go back to the next slide. Your goal and objective for your grant writing, for whatever grant you are applying to. The reason why your goal have to be smart is that sometimes these people that are reviewing the application or that are reviewing your grant proposal, they do not have all the time. They do not have all the time for them to go over all what you have written. So they need concise, something that is very smart. You just use the smart goal. And when you use it, you'll be able to captivate them in a short, concise way, in a way that is going to make sure that they get your idea. They know what you want to do with the grant money you are applying for. They know that, okay, you're specific. You are not generalizing. You have a place where you want to carry out this project. It's not worldwide. For example, it can be in Uselu in Benin City in Nigeria. They know that this project is going to be implemented in this place. It's not that you're going to say, okay, I will go to Nigeria, this is where the project is going to happen, or in Africa, this is where the project is going to happen. They need it to be. So when you are writing your grant proposal, or when you are asked questions about your goals and objectives, make sure that they are smart goals. Your methodology, how do you want to carry out this project? Now you have to explain the activities. The activities have to align with the goal. You don't say that you aim to prevent blindness in rural communities, and your methodology, like the activities you are going to implement, follow to implement that goal. That is for you to have that goal, to achieve that goal. Your activities have to be in line with your goals. You don't say you want to prevent blindness in Nigeria or in Uselu, Ugbowo, Nigeria, and the activities is not showing that way. It's not planned. It's just, what I used to tell people is that when you want to write about the activities, just think of like step by step. What is the first thing you will do? What is the second thing you will do? Follows what you are going to be doing. And you have to make sure that these things are in line with what you will achieve in the goal. Now, the budget. Now, budget is, they want to know how you are going to utilize this fund that they are going to give to you. It's not enough to say, it's not enough to, say something, bring up the idea. People need this idea, and you already outline all the activities that you want to do. It is a smart goal, and they are really wild with what you have stated. And the budgeting is flawed. You don't just write a vague budget. You have to be concise. You have to account for every kobo. First of all, I would like to say grant is not an avenue for you to make money. Grant is an avenue for you to create impact, or you to, in line with what the funding objective or guidelines or what they want. So there are some grants, they just want people in climate change to do some impactful projects. There are some grants they just want animal rights protection. There are a lot of grants, there are a lot of objectives. That is the grant objective. They have their funding principles. They have who they fund, who they are actually looking out for. So your budgeting should be in line with that. For example, if they are looking for animal protection and stuff like that, and probably your need assessment is fantastic, but when you are now writing your budgeting, and probably in the funding guidelines and rules and regulations, they stated that they don't need you to pay anybody. They believe that all who are going to be working with you to achieve that goal have to be volunteers. They don't know how you want to do it, but that's just what they want. They want them to volunteers. Now, when you're writing your budgeting, you should make sure that you should have a plan for what you're going to do for the volunteers. You have to look for passionate people who are not willing, who they although they want to be paid, but you have to offer them something else apart from payment, probably certificates, probably media visibility. So you have to, your budgeting have to be like that. For example, pollination grants. Pollination grants do not require that your budget have um, items that have to do with killing of animals, or serving meats, or bees, hunting bees or something like that. So in your budgeting, we should not see, there should nothing be in sort of serving food that has to do with consumables like wood, even paper. Is against the funding principles. That is why it is important that you tailor your budget towards the funding principles, like the guidelines, the rules and regulations. You basically put it who they fund, who they are looking for. Now, evaluation plan. You should have an evaluation plan. It is very important for you to have an evaluation plan, because they want to know if at the end of this grant, at the end of giving you this money, you will be able to report back to them and say, oh, you have given me this money, and this is the impact I've been able to create with it. So the evaluation plan has to be solid. If it is not solid, if it is not realistic, then they will not be convinced, because they want to give you money for free. They don't expect you to pay back, but they want to see the measurable impact, because they too, they have other people who fund them, or they call them donors. They want to show them, to say that, see, we have been able to give so and so this amount of money to implement this project in this community, and look at the impact this project have created. So if your evaluation plan is not solid, in the sense that it is not measurable, if it is not realistic, then they will not be convinced to give you the money, because they don't know how they are going to go back to donors and explain to them that this money they gave to the person, um, it was the impact, there was no impact, there was no evaluation plan. So your project, before you start implementing the project, as you are writing it, you should picture in your mind, have a picture in your mind, have data to back it up, to say that, okay, there are 80% of blindness in Nigeria. Now, if your project is being implemented in this particular area, this is the percentage reduction in the ratio or the prevalence of blindness. Okay, I'm talking about mortality, maternal mortality, probably preeclampsia. And if this project is being done for pregnant women, check their blood pressure, make sure they follow up and everything. This is the percentage reduction in mortality, in maternal mortality, caused by so disease, hypertension, preeclampsia. So you have to have an evaluation plan. Evaluation plan is very, very important. In fact, sometimes when I'm being given an application in pollination grant to review, I look at the evaluation plan, because we have a way of actually stating, having a picture, or going through. But during the evaluation plan, there are some discrepancies. there are some things that are not realistic. There are some things that are not measurable. You have, even if it is 3 months, even if it is 6 months, if it is 1 year, you have to have an evaluation plan. You have to have a plan in place to say that, okay, I've implemented this project in this place. This is the number of people that are benefited, that will benefit. This is the number of reduction, if it is, let me say, a prevalence, or if it is something, you just have to have an evaluation plan that meets the funding principles or rules and regulations. Now, preparation tips, because it is very important for you to prepare. Preparation means what is part of what is going to actually put you in the spot of being selected for the grant. Now, why do I say so? Number one, preparation. While you are preparing, you have to research. You see all these things I'm saying about guiding principles. Some grants, you just say it and you just go to the application um, 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 page and you start filling. No, you have to research, even go as far as looking for past awardees or who worked there, or just because there are a lot of information in the internet. They create these things for you to read and understand what they are looking out for. Some even go as far as stating on their website what we look out for or criteria. You have to look at those things and do thorough research. Now, how do you do research? Now, you go to their website. If they have a website, you go to their website, you read, look at past grantees, look at projects they did. If you can reach out to one or two of them, reach out to them, ask them, tell them your plan, tell them your idea. The thing is that one thing is that some people are scared of meeting other people because they feel like they'll steal their idea. One thing I know, and one thing well, me and my friends we used to discuss about is that no idea is new. If you thought of something, somebody already thought about it. Somebody somewhere might have even been doing that same thing that you just came to your mind, or just came to your came to your mind that you want to solve this problem. Problems have almost are universal. Some problems are universal. Some problems faced in Nigeria, there are other places, other countries that even face worse than that. So there are some people who have already developed past that stage. How did they solve that problem? And you thought about the idea that, okay, if you do this, if you do that, if you implement this idea, if you implement this idea, this is going to create impact in the society. It's going to stop this. It's going to prevent this from happening. But somewhere elsewhere, I've already done that same thing. You can reach out to that person and ask, tell them this is what you want to do. They may even give you some hints. They may tell you, oh, I just went through your proposal that you sent, and you forgotten, you missed out this thing. Probably you wrote somewhere about something, and they look at it and say, oh, so they are able to point it out to you. Another preparation tips is for you to have someone who can guide you, who is going to say, okay, I think you should write it this way. You understand? I think you should do it this way. So you have to research and know what these people are looking out for. You understand the guidelines. Deadlines are very important, but we know ourselves. Sometimes we do procrastinate up to the extent that we have to submit just the guideline. It's fine, but we have to prepare. You have to prepare your document. You have to prepare your fact. That is where research comes into place. If you want to convince them with data, you have to make a research about, okay, what is the percentage, what is the challenges, back it with data while you're writing your application. No, you have to build a strong team. I don't buy into the idea that one person can do something. You can be the team leader, but you need people. You need volunteers. You need people who are going to embark on this journey with you. And how do they do that? By building a strong team. When you build a strong team, you talk about your idea. You encourage them to follow you, to to come in and volunteer for you. And by so doing, you see that your idea will begin to build even more. That is how the Retina Initiative started. It was through an idea, and we come together and we build that idea, and it is very solid. No one project we do is just one person's idea. We just have to come together, work together. We select teams that are going to, okay, apply for this grant or source out for grants opportunity in this specific area. grants have many, that's why you just have to make your research, because grants have a lot of funding areas. Some grants are just for climate change. If you are doing you are into health, you don't go and, except you have a relationship between climate and health that you just want to marry together, then you apply for funding. There are some grants that they require you to be this specific area. Those grants, when you know that you don't qualify for that specific area, you don't waste your time going to apply for those grants, because there are other grants that are even looking out for you, even as it's simple as animal rights, as even climate change. So if you really know that you want to go into climate change as a medical doctor, as you want to go into climate change, or this is what you're passionate about, then you go into it. We know you go into it. But don't use health ideas or initiative to apply for climate, except if there's a relationship between them. So you have to build a team that will be sourcing out for these grant opportunities. So that when some grants even ask, who are your team members? What are their roles and responsibilities? Because they want to know, they want to see. Some grant proposal or application even ask you to submit their CV. So building a strong team is very important. You can start. No man is an island. Somebody start from somewhere. But that does not mean that you don't build your team. You have to look for people who are going to join you in creating this impact. And by so doing, you get it. And have this idea, or I'll put it at the back of your mind, that this grant, no matter how much it is not for your pocket. It is not an avenue of making money. If you want to make money, you go into business. You don't use grant money to just put it in your pocket and don't do anything. That is why, even with writing everything, you are going to spot it. Trust me, they are going to spot it that no, you don't want to do anything. Because first of all, they may be looking out for past uh, um, um past things, past work that you have done. Even as simple as volunteering. You're not the team leader, you're not the founder, you're not the co-founder, just volunteering. I say I went to this community, this is what I did, this is what I did. I was able to screen people for sight-threatening disease, I was able to screen people for hypertension, and we dispense drug and this and that. Those are things that I'm looking out for, because they want to see that actually when they give you this money, you're going to do it. So while writing, you are narrowed, your focus is narrowed, that this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, and not I will do this, because you are going to spot it that you're speculating, you are not focused. Now, be clear and concise. Now, the applications, some are very, very complex. You will write essays, and you will even get tired at some point. That is where preparation comes into place. Because when you prepare, you can even give it out to your team members and say, please, you guys are going to help me in this aspect. Give them the essay to write, and report back to you. Or you space it. You don't just write it in one day, you space it. Now, you have to tailor your proposal to what they want. I've said that. Show your impact, measurable impact. Show it through storytelling. There's this guy, Ahmed. I always follow him on LinkedIn because his storytelling is superb. If he wants to, if he wants to even ask for money or assistance, he's going to tell you a story. I don't know that guy. Anything he wants to just put out there in the social impact space or on social media, it's going to start with a story. I don't know why. It's just going to start with a story. So know how to craft compelling stories. Even when you volunteer, you meet people. Some people will tell you. I've met a lot of people. That's why I was able to get some grants, because I tell them the story. I remember pollination grants when I first got it. Yes, I told them the story of how there was a child that came to the clinic. The parents were severely complaining that this child is very dull. And when I met them and I said, just bring him to the clinic. I mean, be refractive error. Because I looked at the eye, I did not see any sign of any diseases. But I noticed that the guy is just squinting. I said, maybe that he just need glasses. Well, like at a young child, this child that is just a little, how old, 6 years, we need glasses. So I said, let him come to the clinic. They said he cannot read, he cannot, when his mates are reading in class, he cannot even write. His handwriting is so bad. So when lo and behold, when they came to the clinic and we did refraction and we prescribed glasses, only 3 months, this boy shoots from I think it was like 14th position to like third. That was very drastic. In fact, when the parent came back for follow-up, they were so excited because they saw the impact. So when you want to write about, let for example, you are seeking funding to go to schools to just create awareness about refractive error, it can be as simple as that. You don't want to give classes, you just want to create awareness because that's what we did. So you go there and you like
Okay, guys. It seems like our speaker is having a little bit of a network challenge. So let's just be patient with him for a bit. He will soon be on. He will soon be live with us. Okay, I think he's back here. Dr. Femi, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. I can. Sorry, my network is just poor. All right. So as I
All
was
right.
saying, you have to use storytelling in your writing. It brings out the emotion. It brings out the need assessment in that particular community. Some people like when we have grant reviewer meeting, you see some people say talk about your project. You just write it and you submit. Then we have like an internal meeting, and people begin to talk about. They are not saying that someone in Nigeria or someone in Namibia or someone in Ghana want to do this, want to do that. They just say that I think one grant, those white people, they say I think one application that stand out for me while I was reviewing is an applicant in, let me say, Nigeria, and they just tell your story. That's what they just say. They tell your story, and they feel like that project should be awarded. So storytelling is a powerful tool you should use. I'm emphasizing on it. It's one of the powerful things you should use while writing your or grant application. Um, so proofread thoroughly. Well, some applications actually do not require that they understand that there may be some grammatical errors, but to sound professional, to show that you actually prepare very well, you should proofread it. There should be no typos. There should be no error, grammatical error. You should be able to write well, essentially. And sometimes we do spots when somebody just use AI to just write without no idea. It's just vague. You know, I don't think it will even pass the first round of review because when they look at it, just from my own perception or from what I just observed, you just have to, put an element or human element. Even if you want to use it, you should know how to use it. Let me put it that way. You should not just write it vaguely and it will just give us something generic. Business like, can you hear me? Next slide. Oh, business work. I think, can anybody hear me? Hello. Okay. Now, common
Yeah, we can
pitfalls
hear
to
you.
avoid. Yeah, thank you. Common pitfalls to avoid. Now, failing to meet submission requirements. Sometimes, for example, the price. Is a grant and you know of very well. Now the price will ask you to submit a concept note and everything that has to be. If you don't know how to write a concept note, you don't have a problem. There are guidelines, there are requirements that has to be on that concept note. In fact, some people write their own concept note in a very different way, but these grants have their own stated way, and you have to follow it to the latter. For example, they may say the executive summary should be 2 sentences. You make sure that you don't pass that 2 sentences. So you have to tailor what you are writing to the requirement. For example, now they'll say ask you to submit your CV. Now, when you submit only the concept note and you don't submit the CV, it's just as the same as not even submitting at all. Now, overloading details. This is one thing that is very common. Why even when somebody send me the application or why we are writing grants, if you want to master, that's why I say if you want to master the art of writing grants, you have to be able to communicate your ideas in just summarize something. For example, if somebody comes to you and say you want to talk about this, give me 2 minutes. Just put it practice it. 2 minutes. You should be done with whatever you want to say. That is why you should not be, you should go straight to the point. Don't overload it with a lot of information. In fact, even while using storytelling, you don't have to say, then we stop at Okada. Then after Okada, we enter the bus. Then we saw somebody selling. Those are irrelevant details. Go straight to the point. Go straight to who you met, what is the problem, and what was the solution, and what was the impact. Just go straight to the point. Use your smart go to write whatever you're writing. If they say write about the assessment about what you want or your idea, you should be able to communicate it in very simple terms. Don't overload it with with details. Some of these grants, some of these grants already know the problem. They already have the data. They already have the story, but they just want you to say something that is similar. Sometimes they may even share it with you. I think the price will share the problem with you. They will share the proven intervention with you. Now tell us your own idea. Now we want you to perform cataract surgeries in less than $50. Tell us the idea. What are you going to be doing differently? They don't want you to overload them with ideas. Now telling them about WHO, how WHO conducted research, and overload it with informations. They want you. Okay, if you want to go with data, just take the point in 1 sentence and you are done. Don't overload it with details, because when you overload it with details, we miss the point. Grant reviewers, they miss the point, that the major point that you want to communicate. Now, ignoring funders' mission, that is very important. When you miss it, what is their mission? That's why it's important that you go and make a research about that particular grant. What is their mission? What is their goal? Who are they looking out for? What is their don'ts? There are some funders. There are some things they don't even want in your application. They don't want in your project. Now, weak budget plan. I've said this before. If it is very weak, have somebody review, have somebody look at it. You don't say, for example, we give you $1,000 and half of the money for the project is for paying volunteers, or half of it is for transportation. It is not effective. You did not effectively use that grant funding. So you have to have a very solid budget plan. And how do you have it? How do you make sure that every cover is being accounted for? Make sure that the problem you are trying to solve carry the larger aspect of the budget. That's one way. Then there are some there are some grant applications. They will ask you to submit
Okay, let's be patient with him. He will soon be back online. I think he's having a network issue. He's currently working in a rural area, but he'll soon be online with us. Um, okay, we'll soon be coming to the end of the webinar. So please, I would like all of us to get our questions ready. We have the question and answer chat session. So that's where we are going to be dropping our questions so that the speaker can help to attend to it in a few minutes. So while we're rounding up, let's be getting our question and our questions ready so that the speaker can help to provide answers for us. I will probably be sharing the recording and the slide later for us in case we want to share to our friends and all that. I'll be doing that as well.
Hello? Sorry, I dropped off again.
Yeah, we
Can
can
you hear
hear
me?
you. We can hear you. Yes, we can hear
Okay.
you.
So go back to the next slide. Let me round up so that if there are questions, I can answer them. So in a nutshell, grant is money that that is being given you a financial um a form of a financial that is given to somebody to implement a project without them asking you to pay back. They just want to see what the impact. They want their money to work out a solution to a problem so that people can benefit, so that just to create impact. So now, how do you now go out there and write a fantastic application that is going to attract funding? First of all, it is an art in the sense that you don't get it right the first time. That's just the truth. Some of you are already writing fantastic grant application, but you are not getting funded. Continue. It is an art. It is something you don't just get. It is a process. Some grant applications they do give you review. Make sure that you look at that review. You know what is the statement that those grant reviewer wrote about your project, and you can use it to refine it and go back and reapply. So it is an art and a strategy. It is not what you want. It is not what you feel like you should do. Do you understand? It is not what, because if everybody will feel like they should pay volunteers some specific amount of money. If the grant if the grant application allows it, fine. If they don't, look for another means of paying your volunteers, or like I said, look for another means. So you have to tailor everything. It is not what you want. You are going to look at their guidelines, their do's and their don'ts, and you use it to tailor your project or your NGO project that you want to do, the community impact project you want to undergo, and look at it and always marry it with what the funders are looking out for, or else your application may not even pass the first review because they see it as you going against what they want, who they are looking out for. Now, a strong proposal links your vision with founder's goal. Just like what I said, you have to marry it. Preparation and clarity is key. Don't use vague statements. Don't use a lot of statements that are. You can use it anyway, but be simple, be concise. Make sure that these things you can explain to a 6 year old child and you will understand. Don't bamboozle them with a lot of details. Use storytelling to come to. You can even use storytelling without even saying something, because from your story you will tell us, you will be able to extract the need assessment in that community. You understand? There was a community we went. I know me, Babatunde, and some optometrists. We went in. I think it's in Akure. No, I think it's in Oshun. And in the community, the rural community, a lot of the young people, young boys and girls, they are having discharge all over their eyes. Like, it's just so obvious. You just look at their eyes, so brownish. Children, a lot of them. This is something that is not common in other places. So now, when you use storytelling and say, we even take pictures, there are some even grants of application, they ask you to show them need assessment photos. You understand? So make sure that you volunteer. With your volunteering, you can take note of the problem. Don't just create problem in your mind. Look at it. What is really the problem in this community? If you want to be an impact leader, you want to solve a problem. What do they really need? I know a lot of us would have heard about the story. It's a very common story that it is very important to conduct a need assessment. There was a story where they saw that people were lacking water in this particular community. You have to go miles to go and fetch water. A lot of us must have heard the story. So they decided to create a bowl very close to them, and overnight they went to remove the bowl and scatter it and just destroyed it. They implemented a project there. Somebody probably seek for grant or for money to implement that project there to solve a problem there. But the people who did that project for went ahead there to remove it and just destroyed it. Now, when they now go and find out, and they told them, you did not ask us what we need. You just went there to go and put the ball there. We actually enjoy our wives going the extra mile to go and fetch water. We enjoy it. That's not a, you are not it's not a problem to us. The women, they also enjoy going that distance because they have time to spend with their friends. Because when they get back home, their husband don't allow them to go visit friends. But that long distance, they enjoy that problem. It's not actually a problem to them. They enjoy it. So something have to be a problem to them. Sometimes when you do outreach, that's why people come. You don't go and meet them in their house. They will come because they see it as a problem. So they want to check. Say, I've been having headache, or I'm pregnant, or I've been feeling funny, or a lot of things. Some people already know that they had episodes of hypertension, and so when they see outreaches, medical programs like this, they go there. So that is the problem those people are solving, not the one you just imagine in your mind. So it has to be realistic, it has to be concise, you have to tailor it towards the goals and objectives of the founders. So I will just stop here. Anybody, you can reach out to me if you want to. And with this opportunity, I hope I've been able to say something about mastering grant writing. I think we'll take questions now. Theophilus.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Femi, for. So currently we'll be taking some few questions. So I want the scholars to drop the question in the question and answer chat box. The speaker can do to attend to your question. So kindly do that. If you have your question, drop it in the group chat so the speaker can attend to it. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. You've done well to go through the steps of securing a grant, and you even did well to mention some grant bodies that scholars can apply for grant, like ahead of the Prizer, ahead of the Pollinate. I don't know why I mentioned another one. So scholars, I want you guys to take note of these organizations. These organizations have funded, they give a grant to small community health initiatives to fund the activities. So you can use this experience that you've gotten here to do what to secure one or two to implement an initiative in your community. So I can see one asking in the report, do we write a story? Because it says storytelling is powerful. Is it possible to share with us a sample of a written grant? So Dr. Femi, this is one of the questions that is in the chat box. Somebody said that he wants at a Millennium Fellowship, but he didn't drop the question itself. Derry, can you please clarify what you want to ask about the Millennium Fellowship? Thank you.
Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay, I think somebody asked a question about sharing a grant proposal, sharing a grant proposal. So there are a lot of grants that have, they are each have. Can you hear me? Hello.
I hear So there are noise. Okay, we can hear you
Okay.
clearer now.
Okay, so it is possible you can message me personally to send you a sample, or you can send me yours if you want a second eye. It does not have to be me. You can look out for those who have gotten the application before, and you reach out to them. You send them your application. For the second question, I think somebody asked about Millennium Fellowship or something. I'm also a Millennium Fellow. uh So I can actually tell you some, like there are some social impact, will I say, workshops or organization like the MCN, that is the Millennium Campus Network, that they take you to through the stages. It's like a workshop through the stages of creating impact in your community, but they do not provide funding. So you have to look out for opportunities elsewhere for funding. You understand? And there are some, I think Millennium Fellowship now brings out a grant. I think is for the ocean or something. That is, you have your project has to be in keeping the ocean safe and I think clean. So if your project is towards that, then you can apply for those grants too. I hope I answered the question, or if I don't get it, you can repeat the question.
Okay, I think somebody is asking another question. Thank you for that, Dr. Femi. Someone asking another question in the major group chat. He said, "Can you elaborate on AI generated possible
Okay,
to share a list
can
of
you hear
those
me?
organizations for grants?"
Okay, so first of all, say AI generated. Now, AI generated, the reason why I frown about AI generated, you can use, see, that's why you have to prepare. Now, when you're preparing, you take out your pen and you have a book specifically for grant writing, for creating your ideas, just like a vision board, you have it. Now, you go over it and write your ideas, what you want. You write it. Then, if you want to input it in AI, fine. You don't just go to ChatGPT and just type and just copy and paste the question they ask you and you put it there. Now, if you want AI to refine what your ideas are, or you want it to read what you have written, but you have to go through the process of brainstorming first, because AI does not know uh, the current problem. You can have the data, but it does not have the current situation in the community. You yourself have to. In fact, if you are applying for WMI community seed grant, you have to conduct a need assessment. You have to conduct it. That's why I was saying that I told you about the story whereby you have to know, you actually look at if this problem is actually a challenge or is actually a problem, if so to say, in that particular community. Because that time they say that it is a problem in Nigeria, generalizing it. But in your community, it may not be a problem, or some other problem may limit that problem from being solved. For example, it may be a policy thing. It may be something that when you are now implementing, they will come and arrest you because it's a policy there. For example, now you don't go to some, let me say, for example, some communities or some areas where they don't. In fact, it's a crime for the children to go to school over there. Now, you could go into the community and just force children, or just creating something. You have to first of all go through the edge, those people who say it's a crime. You have to try and convince them. You have to try and seek help from let me see if it is external help like the government, to try and tell these people that basic education is important, or either they provide the education there, because you can build a school there, you can get a grant and build a school there. They go there and destroy it. But when the government is backing you, is supporting you, then you can go ahead to implement this project. So a need assessment is very, very important whenever you are doing your project. So that is why your project, you have to make sure that people really need it. Did I answer the question? Dr. Tio?
Yes. I think you've cleared that question using AI. You have to ensure that the AI
Yes,
they have to communicate in as much as you want to use ChatGPT to
exactly. Yes,
someone is asking whether you get the list of organizations offer grants. I think you've already mentioned that the pollinate, you mentioned that
yes, yes. Sorry, Theo. So, the medical scholar board, they are doing fantastic job. In fact, there are some opportunities I just see, and I'll just wow and say like they organize a lot of opportunities. They in fact they categorize it into fellowships, into grants, into scholarships, and send it. I believe because I do receive those mail. So when you see those mail, you read it, you open it and search for opportunities there. Then you can also go to another website because I don't know the focus area you are working on. For example, this is a medical scholar board I know. So I don't know the focus area that you are doing. But you can go to websites like opportunitydesk.com. In fact, there are some pop-ups now that when you search for opportunities so much, whenever you go to your browser, you just see something just pop up. So although you can also go to opportunitydesk.com, there's opportunities for youth. Just search all these things on the internet and you see, go to the grant section and you see a lot of grants. These ones I just mentioned are just the ones that personally I have applied for and by the grace of God got in. Youth, even the medical scholar board are doing fantastic um, way of sending opportunities your way directly to your mail. So whenever you see those mail, click it, open it, and you're going to see. You can select from what you want. I see a question here in one of your forum. You once mentioned that you were a Millennium Fellow. What would you advise scholars like me in what to write and how to stand out? And they also ask if you would be on campus. Which are the right responses? Okay, Derek, you can message me personally for this. I think this is beyond the scope. However, Millennium Fellow, you have to be a student. That's number one. You have to be a student for you to apply. And then there are a lot of ways you can, um, you know, put in your application. They are going to ask you to write a project that you're going to do while you are undergoing this fellowship. So those things are something that you can message me personally for. So
right. Thank you.
Millennium Fellowship does not fund projects as of now that I know. Millennium Fellowship does not fund projects. However, they do release grants. That one grant that I know is on Ocean and then I think Ocean something, but you can browse it. Millennium Fellow undergoing the fellowship, they don't give you money for grant. Although I think Carroting Youth Fellowship do, yes, Carroting Youth Fellowship gives you $1,000 to implement. It's a community project. You'll be in a group of people in your state or your region to implement that project. So I think if you're looking for fellowship that gives you funding, I think Carroting Youth Fellowship is one of it.
All right, thank you for that. I think we've done well to clear some of the questions. Somebody's asking about the website. So you can check Pollinate, you can check the pricer, and then don't forget to check your monthly opportunity email blast from Medical Scholars Board. We share a lot of opportunities through that email blast, and I'm sure that you will see a lot of websites with a lot of opportunities. So thank you so much, Dr. Femi, for your wonderful presentation. It's been a very interactive session. You've been able to give us the steps of grant application, how to make our grant application stand out, the resources that we can use, and even went on to give us some bodies that we can reach out to and all that. So you've done a very wonderful job to uh, kind of handle this topic for us, and I'm sure that I and all other scholars here have done well to benefit from this webinar. So thank you so much. With no questions again for you to answer, I think we've done well to come to the end of today's webinar. It's true that we went beyond our time, but it was worth it. So thank you so much. It's not a
Thank you for
dashboard.
having me.
It's an email blast. Gaston. It's not a dashboard. It's an email blast. The medical scholar board do send opportunities every month at the beginning of every month to medical scholars. If you are not receiving this email, please kindly reach out to me after this webinar. Okay. Thank you so much. So thank you, Dr. Femi, once again. Thank you, Mrs. Success, for helping us to ensure that everything was flowing from the background. And I thank every scholar. If you have further questions, kindly reach out to Dr. Femi on WhatsApp. You can easily get his number in the WMI Health Professional group chat. I'm sure that he will be happy to assist you and answer your questions further. So, do have a nice day, everyone. I'm glad to have you all, and it's good to start our years with this wonderful webinar. Thank you. See you guys in a few months' time for another one.